All right, what a great day! What a great day! And it's always exciting to talk about individual success and what that means for our program is something that we can sure accentuate all the positives that have happened for Kofi in his time at the University of Illinois. And it's a great day that a kid came here as a young guy and uh, hadn't been in a high school all-star game and leaves here as a two-time All-American, one of the most celebrated players in our history. And his jersey will hang here. And he's accomplished so much. And for him to reach his dreams and chase his dreams is what this is all about. Every young person, no matter what their degree, comes to college with the mindset of chasing a goal and chasing a dream. And that's what Kofi's doing. And he's gotten better. He's improved each season. He's made a lasting imprint, not just in our program, but in the Big Ten. And he's done that on the national scale as well. So we're excited for him, his opportunities. He's going to play big boy basketball, and that's what his goal and dreams are. And very, very excited for him, very proud of him for all the work he's done and the ability to go from a relatively unknown in high school and position himself to be one of the all-time greats. A lot of people involved in that, assistant coaches, staff, Adam Fletcher, helping him get there, and so we're excited, and it's really a great day to be able to talk about guys moving on, and we got to continue to do that here, and that means success, and we're excited for the next group of guys that will reach out and make those same decisions.
What was the first step in constructing the roster for next year once you had this decision?
Well, I mean, I don't know if there's a next step. The portal's chaos. I mean, it's truly chaos. I mean, you got 1,300 people in there. I think one of the big factors is we got to find out who gets in school at the University of Illinois. That eliminates a lot of them, and and then the reality is until Kofi's made this decision, nobody was coming here. We could think one thing, we've done that before, and you're still not going to fill those spots until that final announcement has been made. So the portal's very fluid. It's something that we're dealing with on a daily basis, and then we've got to not just break down film and numbers, but we've got to look at transcripts and the academic part of that as well to see who fits here.
Brad, obviously you've changed a lot of what you do to center around a talent like Kofi's, a different kind of player. As you construct moving forward, how do you expect to play different, or what kind of piece do you look for that makes you different?
Yeah, I think that we will get back to playing a little faster. Obviously, we're excited about this freshman group and what they bring. From that standpoint, I think that we've been excited about Dane and what he's done. Although he has not played a game yet, I'll preface that. But he's extremely talented. He's a tremendous ball handler, passer. So the game will open up. I expect us to open the floor up a little more than with Kofi. We still got a little time to figure all that out and see how the roster pieces together and what that looks like.
Coach, do you feel like Kofi can show the pro coaches a skill set that maybe he didn't get an opportunity to show at the college level?
Yeah, I think there's the pro game's so different. Mainly on the defensive side. Everybody wants to talk about offense and do you pick and pop? Do you pick and shoot threes? Do you do that? I tell every young guy, same thing I told Io, eliminate offense. How do you play defensively, and how do you make it? Because there's a lot of max contract guys in the NBA that are getting plays run to them, and they're going to run those plays for a reason because they've earned that right. But defensively is how you make your impact, and can you guard out on the floor, and can you guard ball screens, and how do you do that? And the 3 seconds in the paint defensively is a major difference in the games, and that's what Kofi's going to have to prove.
Kofi's impact obviously was felt on the floor, but just talk about how he was off the floor, because that smile will kind of live on in Illini history.
Yeah, it should. It should. I say this all the time. He never had a bad day, and it was infectious. He's a guy that always brought a sense of humor. We all look for athletes and players that aren't energy vampires. They don't suck the life out of a locker room or a practice. Kofi was just the opposite. He brought that attention. He brought that fun-loving, dancing charisma to our team, and that'll be hard to replace. Not just his physical tools, but his emotional energy was really good as well.
Whether it be the NBA or overseas, how exciting is it knowing that you got a player who's going to go on for hopefully a long pro career, and just kind of the rewarding aspect of that, playing a small part and helping get him there?
Yeah, it means we're getting good. It means we're getting the right guys, and that's important for the next set of guys to believe that we're. I say it all the time in recruiting. We're a development program. We're getting guys better, and it's not an easy process. There's a lot of hard work, and hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work, and that's where our guys are at. They're getting better, and all we can do is continue to recruit high character guys that want to work, and the opportunity that we talk about Io constantly here, and the success he's having, and that same thing will be true with Kofi. So. I'm excited to keep spreading the good news about those guys.
What were your conversations like with Kofi over the last month, and were they any different than maybe this time a year ago, 2 years ago?
No, I don't think they were a lot different. I think that I think he felt like he's accomplished what he needed to, and being a first team All-American, growing, taking that to the next level from a second team All-American, and achieving so much and being the focus. He was a guy that was one of the top usage guys in ball screens 2 years ago to a guy that was top usage in post-ups this year. And his game evolved on that side of the court. His passing became better. And I think now it was just a matter of getting adapted and used to the rules, the 3 seconds in the lane, or not in the lane defensively, and just making that jump.
What kind of pitch did you guys make to him to come back, especially with NIL?
No.
You have any conversations with him?
Oh, he was in a situation where NIL was very good to him, and yet you don't want it to be about those things. You want it to be about the right reasons. And the one thing I have tremendous respect for Kofi. He's chasing his dream, and the NIL portion is small potatoes to him, what his goals and dreams are. And I've got a lot of respect for the fact that he was doing quite nicely here, and would continue to grow his brand. He had an unbelievable brand here, and but that was not his ultimate goal and what his dreams were. So a young guy followed his dreams, and I do nothing but applaud him.
Safe to say you kind of left him alone and this time around, and we're just kind of waiting to hear from whatever he wanted to decide.
Yeah, there was. I mean, he's gathering the information. His people are gathering the information. It was a more comforting thing, I think, because he's been through it. I think he felt comfortable with the process. I think he felt comfortable with what he accomplished, and as did I. I'm excited as heck for him, and everybody thinks it's the end of something when a guy leaves, and it's just the end of a really good player that wore our uniform, who had a lot of success, and this program has had a lot of really good players. We're going to continue to do that, and we should applaud this one and be thankful for the time we had with Kof, and man, he was awesome to coach, and very, very proud of him.
It's a big roster reset, obviously, about 85% of your scoring, I believe. It's kind of nerve-wracking but exciting in the same way? Like, how do you kind of look at that?
Yeah, we're no different than just about everybody else in the country. That's the portal's creating all that. But I think that you would try to stay old. We were an older basketball team this year. We knew exactly what we had. We don't necessarily know that from a game experience, but the talent level is probably better than it's ever been. I love that piece of it, and seeing young guys mold themselves from good players to great players is what I enjoy the most, and I'm looking forward to this group, and we'll see what the final roster looks like. But staying old is a hard thing to do, and anytime you lose guys, you replace them with guys that you feel comfortable with, and we've done that.
Is along those lines, is Jake still mulling things over when he's going to take that last?
He is. We've got a conversation coming up, and you know, he's a guy that you know, has had a wonderful impact. He was probably as important to our success as any player we had. And you know, you start looking at him from an offensive efficiency number. With him and compared to without him, he was at the top of made us one of the top teams in the country in efficiency, and so he's a valuable piece, and he's a great leader. So we'll have conversations and see what what his options are.
How's his shoulder? Shoulder, how is it?
It's, as far as I know, he's doing great with it.
Who do you look for leadership now, Brad, given a lack of experience there?
Yeah, you know, I think obviously I think you start looking at Coleman. I think you start looking at guys, Luke Goody, RJ. I think, you know, Dane has been a part of a national championship locker room. And I think we've got guys with natural leadership abilities who are ready to blossom into that role. And you know, a guy that, you know, we just signed is not afraid of that role. He's done that his whole life, and he's already reaching out, connecting with guys. And so we'll see how it all evolves once we get the group together here in the summer. And, you know, it kind of happens organically, which is sometimes the best way to have that.
What type of changes have you seen in Dane, even just in a few months with coaching staff and maybe with Fletch?
Well, about 25 pounds gone. He's been an unrelenting worker. I've been so impressed with his commitment to work. He's a 3 workout a day guy, and all those are done with Fletch. He has not wavered on his diet. The nutrition factor has been huge for him. You know, I've gone a week and you almost don't recognize him. And but he's gone from 290, you know, down to, I think he was 270 or 269 the other day in a quick period of time, and that's muscle. But a guy with just a different skill set than what we've had. You know, elite handles, elite passer, right hand, left hand. For a guy that big, you know, I call him a dancing bear. He's just got really light on his feet. He's got some quick twitch to him. So he's just a guy that's, you know, a unique piece at that size. And then he's got a 7'8" wingspan.
Are there some specific skills or certain profile that you're still looking to add to the roster?
Well, you can never shoot it well enough. And, you know, I think that's one of the things that we're always looking at as the paint, you know, as it looks now, as the paint opens up in terms of Kofi's presence not being there, you're looking for downhill guys who can get in the paint, who can attack the rim. I think one of the things that I'm trying very hard to impose on our guys this spring is getting to the free throw line more. That's by attacking. We were not a good layup making team this year. That was something that you know, we struggled with in transition. That'll be a major emphasis. I think we've got guys who can bounce it, and instead of post entering and getting the ball in the paint through that, we're going to have to drive it. And you know, it's still important to get the ball in the paint, and we'll have to do that a little differently than we have in the past.
Did you kind of consider maybe being at this juncture and you recruited Dane, and what does this kind of create opportunity-wise for him and Ben?
Yeah, you know, I think it's great opportunities for everybody. You know, as I think Jeremy mentioned, you know, you want to call it a reset. You know, we're losing some guys, so with loss of guys come opportunity. And you know, Ben's a guy that we beat Michigan State, and he was a starter, and he impacted the game. And you look at Coleman played 3, 4, 5 for us. You look at you know, Brandon Lieb, you know, is a guy that can be an elite runner and has made those strides. And you know, obviously you know, RJ was absolutely fantastic towards the end of the season and got sidetracked with the appendicitis. But Luke Goody, you won't recognize him with what Fletch has done with him. So I'm excited about all these guys and the opportunities that are in front of them, and then you find out as their roles change, you know, who can handle the heat, so to speak.
How do you approach the summer or maybe the early months of the season differently with potentially losing 5 starters and having so much youth, just as your mentality? knowing there'll be bumps in the road.
Yeah, and I think the one thing that you guys know I'm not going to do is back off our schedule, and,
Right.
and we're going to play an elite schedule. The biggest challenge for me right now doesn't have anything to do with the makeup of our team. It's getting back to pre-COVID ways. We haven't had an off season in a couple of years. There's not one guy on our team that's been through a Fletch off season full bore with spring, with the Maymester, with June. Yeah, here's Big Dane now. So he's still too heavy. He can't squeeze through there yet, but he'll get there. But again, it's just getting back to the hard work and the off season, and this is when guys get better. This is the 5-month grind, which makes our program. And yeah, is it important with new guys? Absolutely. And we got a group of freshmen will be in here in May, and they're eager and they're ready to get going. And that extra month of May will help them a lot.
Is Kofi going to graduate this May? Is Kofi on track to graduate in May?
He will not. He will not.
And how is your APR with all these?
It's fine. It's fine. But APR is one of those things that gets to be. He probably needs to be addressed at the next in the future. You know, it's one of the challenges I think with the unknowns of the transfer portal is not just graduation rates, obviously retention, which we worked hard for years and years to keep track of, but you know, how do you handle guys who are in the portal from an academic standpoint when you really don't have any control over what they're doing anymore? But you know, guys are losing hours. That affects percentage towards degree, and all those things are a big factor, and they've got to be addressed. And all sports, not just men's basketball, are dealing with those things. So it's a lot of changes that have happened because of the portal, and those are things that are the consequences of what we're seeing with 1,300 plus kids in the portal.
How do you prepare RJ, Coleman, those guys for obviously much bigger expectations?
Really hard summer, really hard spring, really hard summer. Those guys are dialed in, and we've had as good a 3-week period right now as I'm elated with their work. It's getting better. It's taking individual weaknesses. That's one of the things we have hard conversations with our guys about, and get those things better. And you know, if I didn't think they were capable of handling the ascension up the scouting report, we would go to the portal and try to find other guys. But I think these guys are very capable. We loved them when we signed them, and they had moments this year where they've shown they can play.
What are the conversations like with Hutch? Do you expect him back next year?
We'll see what Hutch is going to do. He's been training off-site, off campus. He's an older guy. He's got a lot of degrees, and we'll see where that takes him.
Coach, we just watched Ty Rogers play at the Jordan Brand Classic. Did you get a chance to watch the game?
I did.
What do you think of his skill set?
Oh, Ty Rogers is one of those guys that was one of my favorite players on the circuit. He impacts winning at the highest level. There's nothing he can't do. Obviously, physically, he's got a body that allows him to be ready and play multiple positions. I wouldn't be shocked to see him play point some. I wouldn't be shocked to see him play 2, 3, 4. He can guard. I thought he was the best defender on the circuit last summer, and guarded multiple positions. And then I just love his passing. And we haven't had that physical size and presence, an elite passer and a guy who can guard multiple positions at 6'6", 6'7".
You mentioned the multiple front court pieces you have. There's some versatility there. Does that impact what you like? How does that impact what you look for?
A lot.
In the portal?
I think that as we've grow without Kofi and having him there, I think there's got to be a shift in terms of what we do defensively a little bit, and we anticipate that, and not just on the offensive side. I think that we can be elite defensively. Dane is a guy who can really move his feet. that allow us to do multiple things in ball screen coverages. You start looking at guys with length, Coleman, RJ, Ty, Sincere. You start looking at guys that have Luke, multiple guys that have different positions. Maybe it allows us to switch more. Maybe it allows us to pick up full court more. We'll see how that all plays out when we get the whole group together. But yeah, I love guys who do something a little bit different on the offensive end, but all have length and size to do some things that can cause problems on the defensive side.
Got time for one or two more. I guess losing a guy you can dump it down to a lot of times, Ian, like Kofi, how much more important does shot creation become for you guys next year?
I don't know. I feel pretty good about Dane. And I feel like we've got a pretty good option there. From what I saw this year, he was a monster on the scout team, and one-on-one coverage with him is he's pretty gifted. So I think we'll just be different. I think that obviously Epps, Sky Clark, Sincere, all three of those guys are elite shot makers, and those are guys that get the ball where they need to get it, and that'll be a different approach for us. Something to just beat somebody one-on-one. So Ty is another one. He does the same thing. So we set out to accomplish that in recruiting, and this staff did a great job of fulfilling those needs. So we'll be different, but that's okay. I'm not afraid to change.
But how does it help you to get ahead in recruiting? Seems like for a while there when you started here, you were just trying to play catch up. Now you're getting ahead.
That's a question I wrestle with every day because I don't know if we're ahead. I don't know. Obviously, we've got commitments in 24, which I can't talk about, and you're excited about those, and yet the identification of what your team looks like. I'm sitting there. I ask our guys today, why am I going out this weekend? We've got 22s to still get. You don't know what your team is going to look like from year to year. I'm expecting the portal at some point, I think, to slow down, but I think it's right now the cool thing to do, and everybody wants to do it for whatever the reason. It doesn't matter who I talk to. Nobody knows the roster yet. So I don't know if we're truly ahead, but I do feel great about the guys that have pledged their allegiance to the orange and blue.
Anything medically that would preclude somebody that being here in June that you expect this summer beyond maybe Sky?
No, and I think Sky's going to be great. So I think he's going to be in a good place. So no, I think we're all in a, knock on wood at this point in time, I think we're all in a really good place medically, which is something that, how many games we miss? 68? 68 games totally missed this year. So anytime I get a medical report that doesn't have anybody on it that's drastic is pretty good. So.